Hi folks, welcome back to the Carver's Woodshop. This is Arlene once again, and we're going to start a new project. I promised my Canadian friends we would do something a little different. I promised this about 3 weeks ago, and the weather here in PA has been really snowy in February and parts of January. We're now heading into March, and I believe that we'll be able to take care of a new project or start a new project today. What we're going to do is we're going to do a sitting project like this. Okay, we did the fireman and the football player, and offline, I don't have this one online yet, is the little Amish guy. With that being said, I thought it would be nice for my Canadian friends and family up there. I heard a lot about the Canadian Mounties, and I decided I was going to attempt to make one. I've never made one before, so I don't know how it will look or what it will be like. And so you can come along on the journey with me on doing this. I sprayed this with a solution to soften up the wood. You can see the darkness in it. I used the 50% rubbing alcohol and 50% water. And I just put it on there because I'm going to do a lot on the cross grain at the top. The measurements on these blocks, and all these came out of the same block, by the way, if you're wondering. Most of these are 3 inches long by 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches by 1.25 inches by 1.25 inches on the top, and you go down about 1.25 inches before you taper it off. Okay, so what you want to do is make your center lines first, and then measure your 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches at the top, then measure your 1.25 inches at the bottom here on the side, and then you can cut that off to make it a little bit of a cone shape. Just helps it along a little bit and helps shape it. All these projects are my cone projects. Soon, hopefully, I'll have some basswood that you can purchase to do these projects, and they will be in this shape of the block, and they'll come in a certain length for a certain amount of money, and then you can go ahead and cut them any size or any length you want according to the project that you're going to be doing on YouTube or off the DVD video. So let's get started here. I have my knives sharpened up. I'm using a Murphy knife. The wrap that you see around it is just to give it some texture to hang on to it a little bit. It's the thumb wrap that a lot of folks use. Make sure you have your glove and a thumb guard on. I don't wear one, but I highly recommend it for beginners, and if you've been carving for a while, it will help prevent you from cutting yourself. So make sure you put your carver's glove on and your thumb guard. Alright, with that being said, what I went around and did before I sprayed it, I put a little notch here. It's about a 1/2 inch down, and on the back it's almost like an inch, almost 1.5 inches down. And I went across and I marked it all the way. Now this is going to be the hat portion. Of course, this is going to come down a little bit as well, similar to what the Amish hat is like. Okay, so we're going to put a brim one here, so we're going to put another little line, I think, on the bottom of this. Okay, so we're going to kind of match those lines, one on the bottom, one on the top. This always takes some time to excuse me, to draw these things on. Try to roughly get it the same. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to notch the very top at an angle. Okay, so we're going to go down a little ways, and we're going to notch that out. Okay, we're going to go down a little bit more. We're going to notch that out. Now we're going to go down here. We're going to notch it out as well. A little bit at an angle of how the hat goes. All right. You want to be careful not to notch it too far on the bottom here, because you got to put that nose in and the eyebrows and stuff in. So we'll get to that eventually. And we're going to go right under here. We're going to undercut a little bit at an angle. Go in here and just cut that out. Alright. So now we're going to connect all these. So what you're going to do is just take your knife. If you want a nice straight cut, you kind of take your knife. See how straight that is? Push it on there a little bit and then just kind of score it so you know where it is. And then take the tip of the knife and do your little stop cut. That's just what we call a stop cut, where you make the cut first, and then this is what when you go to undercut it, that's where it should stop. Okay, so we're just giving it an outline right now. And this is the under part of the hat. Like I said, I haven't done a Canadian Mountie, and I'm not going to get exactly the uniform like you folks up in Canada are used to. Remember, this is going to be a caricature just like the rest. Things are not going to be proportioned correctly like a realistic figure, and that's part of doing caricatures. They don't have to be, see? That's the beauty of it. Now you can mark these lines better with a pencil if that will help you. Especially if you're a beginner, then you may want to do that. There we go. So we're going to just take the tip of the knife and follow that out. Okay. Alright. Okay, we'll line our hat out. Now we're going to do the same thing up here. And this is where we're going to do a lot of digging. Okay, so let's put our corners in about 1/8 of an inch off. You can always take more off. You actually can't put anything extra back on, of course. And we're going to do the same thing to the top as we did. We're going to score it, and when I come back, I'll have this all pre-cut out. Same thing back here, back 1/8 of an inch up. And we're just going to pull that out a little bit, and it will give us a good idea where all our corners are. A lot of this is going to come off, and because as we round the hat up, we're going to lose these corners, but this is just giving us reference points. Okay, and so what I'm going to do offline here off the camera, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did on the bottom. I'm going to take these lines down and make it so we know where all these lines are, and then we're going to work on the top part of the hat and getting this narrow and at an angle. We'll be right back.